welcome. We're going to assassinate some things. Joey, Colin, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah. Managing Finally
to
have some
plan
nice weather
your
on this
future
end.
assassinations?
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah. You're going to find some terrible people, and then you're going to plot their demise and get them from behind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be a hitman.
Sneak through the... No, you're going to be an assassin. Not a hitman. That's silly. It's different. You could be a ninja or wear different clothes that gives you a hood. You can sit next to
You're
some
right.
monks.
How silly of me.
If you're a hitman, you don't sit next to monks. Joey, if you're a hitman, do you sit next to monks?
I mean, you could.
But they don't.
I mean, Agent
How do you know?
47 is bald, so he can fit in with bald monks.
Oh my god, you're right. Seems my logic is flawed.
Actually, you're right. They don't sit next to monks. They sit next to friars.
Oh, well, excuse you, Colin. God. Okay, yes. So we're doing Assassination. It was my theme pick. Kind of a... I mean, they're two, quote-unquote, more of the modern-esque games, but as we've discovered, 15 years? Well, it's 15 years ago. How about that? Time keeps going.
I need the math on that. 15.
You need the math? 15 is
15
indeed
years.
15 years ago?
I'm going to have to see a proof.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, there needs to be a whole scientific study.
Yeah, the long ago of 2009. Which is wild that it is that long ago at this point. I was living in Germany at the time. In college. Man, what were you doing, Joey, in 2009? Getting your car smashed by gates in Iowa?
No, that was a year before. This is when I
silly me.
started. I was at HCC that year while I waited to get into U of H.
How about you, Colin? 2009? What were you doing that year?
I was starting up my my time at Seneca College in the flight program. I had aspirations to be a pilot. And then I stopped 2 years later.
You only got as far as the ass part?
I don't get it.
Aspiration?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Besides these two games, and I did play one of them a lot more just because I was already familiar with one. So that's where a lot of my time went. I have not played any Assassin's Creed Unity since the last time we spoke. I have been fully concentrated on not Dave the Diver DLC with Godzilla coming out.
How dare you?
And exploring the Red Mist. I have not put in an additional 5 hours of Dave the Diver. That did not happen, Joey. Okay? You can't prove that. I'm not addicted to that game. It's not... No. I'm really trying to complete Final Fantasy 16. This is such a dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. This game is way too long. It's so long. God. Yeah, so basically, if this game didn't have the story that I'm into at this point, the game is not good enough to keep me. Like, I'm really just playing for the story. I've mentioned this countless times in the past at this point. The side missions are nothing but, like, worthless fetch quests. You don't really see enough reward, if any, for killing, like, going to the monster quest board and killing them. They give you very little detail on where to go, but... and then, like, all this loot and stuff that you're getting is essentially worthless. The crafting is a waste of time. There's no, like, quests to go get interesting weapons or things to do to upgrade your character, because it's only one, even though you always have the same party essentially throughout the game. So you can't upgrade them. There's so much missing and depth to this game. And I'm like, okay. I actually think the, like, 83 on Metacritic or whatever it was at the time of release, I think it was too nice to the game. I think it's more like a 70, just because the story is so good, the graphics are good, but there's just nothing else to it. They just copied the same fighting mechanics from the previous couple Final Fantasies, and while that's solid and fine, the game just isn't good enough for staying power. But the story's like I'm thinking it's pretty excellent. So that's
too
that.
bad.
Yeah, it really is too bad. And if the game was shorter, I wouldn't be feeling this like kind of annoyance attitude towards it. Because let me set the record straight here. There's a moment in the game I just had. It's a big romance scene and everything. And I'm like, this is what I was waiting for. Like shit like this interesting thing. Pretty sure there was like, you could see each and every development in the story kind of coming. Maybe a little twist here and there. All good. But I have no like ambition to actually like play the game anymore. It's totally lost me. How many hours is that? I don't know. 40? Let's check. Joey, what have you been playing?
Not
Check
much. I did start up Nier Automata again. I'm gonna actually try to beat it. So I just threw it on easy, and I'm trying to just be through to actually get to the story for once, finally.
Okay, look at you playing easy mode. That's my move.
Yeah, well, I mean, I played a bunch and normal and whatnot, but I'm hoping I don't get bored when I have to play, 2B or whatever the hell that kid's name is. So boring.
You mean
when
9? You mean 9A or whatever?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
9S.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. The dumb kid. I hate him, and I hate that part of the game, so I'm hoping I can get through that this time, because usually that's when I quit the game, because it's boring.
Yeah, I got past the first, I guess, half of the story, and I don't know how far you've gotten, but there's another part to the game where you play as another 2B-like character.
I know she's there. That's why I want to try to. I haven't gotten to her.
I literally got to that point and stopped playing.
Really?
Yeah, don't know what possessed me to not continue, but I should probably do that.
Yeah. So I just need to make sure I can get through 9S or whatever, so I can get to her. Because I think if I get past that hurdle, then I'll enjoy it again.
So my PlayStation app is telling me I'm 31 hours in the game. For what that's worth.
Team says I'm only 22, but I don't think it's complete stats. I think it's 22 on this computer.
Let's see. Trying to see in comparison how long I played Liza P for. Because that game I was very much obsessed with. I probably have to... Let's see. It says I played 5 hours of Unity already. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it tells me unless I pop the game back in or go on my PlayStation PS5 itself. I don't know. Joey, how come we're not friends on PS5?
I don't know.
All right, what's your username? I just realized we're not friends.
I don't know. It's whatever I had for the PS3.
Let's see here.
I
I see Colin.
think my username's like Zoltak the Great or something like that. I have no idea. I honestly, I said it back in PS3, and
Found it.
I still have the same image that it gave me.
The stupid
like...
pelican thing.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Go make a chat between you, me, Colin, and Kevin. I'm gonna create a group. Gonna name the group Red. No. Just RLR. There we go. Name group. It's doing this real time. We a party. There we go. We a play PS5. Did it. Okay, so now that exists. Good. So anyways, Colin, what you been up to?
Mostly been making my way through Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, you almost done yet? This is the third one, right? Or the first one?
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah. Very enjoyable.
I've unlocked all the floors. So I'm just going to clear out all the boos and the gems before I continue to the final boss. I found that with a lot of the later levels, the levels have gotten a lot shorter. It's like you just go straight to the final boss of that level, and then that's it.
Yeah, the puzzles got way more simpler, and it felt like you just blast through it much quicker. You can kind of tell a lot of the beginning stages and middle stages took a lot longer. Whether it was paced differently or because we see that sometimes with a lot of just AAA games or games in general where so much of the game is front halved and then the second half is just, okay, we got to finish what we're set out to do here, and the levels just really become shorter. I can tell you that is not the case in Final Fantasy 16. Everything is like 45 minutes to 90 minutes long, and I'm just like, oh, I have fucking 14 chapters left still? God damn it.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, have you seen Angry Video Game Nerd's review of Final Fantasy VI?
I have not.
Although he goes by 3. It's one of his most recent videos. I recommend it.
I haven't watched any of his stuff in a while.
I'll send you the link on Discord quickly.
No, you don't. I know where to find him. It's okay.
Well, I'm doing it anyway.
All right.
You will have no excuse.
Yeah. The only excuse I have is I might be looking up too many YouTube videos of how to restore golf clubs because I have all these retro things and they're all rusty, and I'm like, all right, what kind of grit paper do I need? What kind of polisher? Do I need to buy some polishing wheels kind of deal for a drill? I don't know. Things have taken a turn.
I see.
Yeah. Basically, I got a 1970s zebra putter, and it's really good. I really like it. I might pursue it further. I just need to make it look nice. I need to, Joey. Don't you judge me.
Too late.
I hear the judging. I was judging your bowling score you sent me last night, you bum.
I mean, I'm gonna go pro, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Three games over 100.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah, would you get 101, 102, and 100?
No, like 109, 110.
Oh,
I think 103.
oh God. So much judging. How? How are you that bad?
Oh, because the lane sucked. That was at like main event, and they were super oily, so I couldn't like do any of the hooking stuff that I'm usually good at. So I
no,
just
it's because you didn't have any of my equipment, so it would do that.
No, even the other balls, nothing would like catch at all. So everything just went straight. So I just threw everything straight.
Were you using a house ball?
Yeah.
Well, that's why.
And then sometimes my balls would get stuck, so then I have to throw a random ball to try to get my ball back to be able to throw it again.
What alley did you go to? Because West Houston got torn down.
It's a main event, so I went there because Megan's niece had a birthday party, and we signed up for a bowling alley and a bowling lane. Waited 3 hours to bowl. Yeah,
main
it's
event? What is?
Yeah, it's I don't know, some kid-friendly arcade bowling thing.
Is it like Tinseltown or something?
I guess. I don't know. It's annoying. A bunch of kids running around loud as hell.
Sounds like a Chuck E. Cheese, but with a bowling alley.
Yeah, and I mean, they also, whatever registers what pins are still up or down was terrible and constantly got it wrong. So like,
sounds
whatever.
like a top-notch place.
So yeah, so you knock down 8. It's like, oh, you only got 6. I'm like, what? No, what?
Well, you can always change that.
Yeah, it wasn't the most accurate, so I didn't really care. I got a couple strikes, a bunch of spares.
For reference of my judgment, this man in high school would just randomly pick up one of my stuff, and then he'd throw like 160s. 150 minimum every game. Just about.
Yeah, but that was actually like real bowling alleys.
I'm so glad you're blaming the equipment, the equipment and place rather than the user. That's a true bowler. My judgment has lessened.
See, I told you I'm going pro. Averaging 100 for 5 games in an hour.
Oh,
so it's speed bowling too.
What was my average this week? Hold on. I gotta do the quick math here. It's gonna be easy. I bowled 9 games this week. I went that divided by 9. Oh, whoops. There we go. My average was 229 this week.
Well, I also bowled one of the games left-handed.
Yeah, what was that one?
That was my first 100, the 103 game.
Oh, good. You're so bad that you can bowl with either hand and it's equal.
Yep, I told you. The lane, it just went straight. It was so slick.
So, Colin, what did you bowl this week?
300.
Well,
Prove
damn,
me wrong.
on the Wii, I'm so impressed.
Nope, in real bowling alleys.
Yeah,
Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. Dave the Diver, Final Fantasy 16, Noah Krat, Assassin's Creed Unity. It kind of does it for me. Although I did write down some games because PlayStation State of Play came out, and where did I write them down? Did I write them down here? There's a few games coming out that really caught my eye, and I wonder if they caught yours. Did you guys see the State of Play at all?
No.
Okay. Yes, I did write them down here. Good. If my computer would not freak out with Google Sheets for some reason. Oh, it's struggling, guys. Okay. Black Myth Wukong, Chinese Dark Souls kind of deal. August 20th comes out this year. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. That's supposed to come out this year. Rise of the Ronin looks fucking sick. That comes out in March. Probably gonna get that. Stellar Blade, April 26th, 2024. Kind of an anime-esque game. I think, Colin, you should look into that one. Might pique your interest. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out later this month, on Leap Year Day. A game called Phantom Blade Zero and Where Winds Meet. They both come out later this year. And then, of course, my curiosity of the new
You cut out there.
Alone in the Dark comes out next month. So,
Well, what about the trailer for Death Stranding 2?
look, man.
That was pretty wild.
Look,
The
bro.
baby that burped up a spaceship.
Forget that. What about the rocketeer that shoots lightning?
You know,
Or the
believe it or
puppet.
not, people made fun of the whole I'm a backpack guy, and you had to do ladders and walking the whole time with Death Stranding 1. I am here to tell you that gameplay might still be more interesting than the remaining things I have left in Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. Although Death Stranding was made very well. Very wasn't that? Yeah, that had like the 2-hour ending, right?
Which one? Sorry,
Death Stranding.
I was looking.
I don't know. I never played it.
Yeah, that ending was pretty long.
Egregiously long, yeah. So maybe he'll shoot for 2.5 hours, beat his record. He is making a new, totally not Metal Gear Solid game. His studio.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's unnamed yet. Action espionage.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest news is Dave the Diver's coming to PlayStation.
It is, with Godzilla.
The lovely Godzilla.
You're just going through the waters, and it's like, oh, it's Godzilla. How you doing, brother? Oh, he really needs to kill me. Although, how scary could Godzilla be when we faced all those ancient creatures at the end of the game? Like, really? What's Godzilla gonna do?
Very scary because he's not just a sea creature. He can go on land, and we're a diver.
And there's also the crossover with Dredge. So, what can he do compared to Cthulhu?
Oh, God. All right. Shall we?
And I still have to play Dredge.
Dredge is a good game.
Nah.
I 100%ed it. I liked it.
Joey Peters. Okay. Oh,
How do you not like Dredge? Dredge is a good game. And
That's
it's a nice story.
It's fine.
It's very relaxing.
Okay,
I like that. You can either do the submissions or the extra missions, or you can just let them play out. And sometimes the person that you're trying to feed just dies, but you still get the credit for completing the quest. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play a double drop here, and then we can talk about the 2 games. Here we go. All right, double death sounds there because we are assassins on this day. My theme pick. I came up with this game because, well, with my playing of Assassin's Creed Unity, I kind of wanted to go back and see what the original was like, and then I had a morbid curiosity with another relatable game where this kind of Dark Souls formula from Software, where it was developed from, and that led to the beginning of the Tenchu series. Of us playing those, I was pretty disappointed in the second game. Loved the first one, and then the third one that we're eventually going to talk about is the first one on the next gen on the PS2 and Xbox, to see if they improved on a lot of things that I critiqued the second game over and loved the first game, despite its limitations. And then to see if the first Assassin's Creed actually holds up, because my memory of... I have never replayed it. I've only played it the one time through, and I loved it so much that, yeah, I've basically bought and played them all, except Syndicate at this point, which I did buy with you, Colin.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a nice retrospective and a hope of, do they hold up or did they improve respectively? What are your thoughts, guys? Like, overall. Good topic, disappointing games, still good. What do you think?
I mean, killing people is always fun, so good topic.
I did not pick 3D games, so had to be better, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you could find a 3D Assassins game, I'd be interested to see how terrible that is.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, I think we've played, like, all of them.
And whose fault is that?
We've played, like, all of the 3DO games that have come out. Well, a game comes out called Dr. Hauser. That pops up when I put in 3DO Assassins game. I don't know what that's about. It might be an FMV game, actually. Is that really a game, though?
I don't know.
3DO battle games. Ooh. Yeah, let's not worry about that. War of Succession. Ooh, hold on. Here we go. We might have missed out on one here. Nope, it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game. Forget it.
Yeah.
Too bad. But I'll go over this anyway. Shadow War of Succession for the Panasonic 3DO. The leader of Shadow, the world's largest criminal organization, has just been brutally murdered. From around his vast criminal empire, they have come to do battle 7 of the Shadow King's best lieutenants. To the winner will go to the ultimate prize, the right be named the Shadow King. To the losers, there is only death. Well, you won't have much of an organization if everyone's dead, right?
An organization of one.
It's a fast-paced fighting game that features live, full-sized, digitized actors. The characters possess their own distinct special moves and weapons. Game uses photorealistic 3D... Okay, I think we found my next topic for game. We got to play this one. This looks terrible.
Great.
I'll write that down. Shadow War of Succession. Okay. We will play a 3DO game in 2024. Look at that. Everybody gets something to look forward to. All right. Joey, continue what you were saying.
I don't remember what I was saying.
You were distracted by the concept of a 3DO game in your future?
Yes, greatly.
Colin, what'd you think of such things that we've done here for this cast. These games.
I like the first one. I mean, I've already played and beaten it previously. As for the other one, I only got to look at like the first level on YouTube, and it looks basically exactly like the first game, just with better graphics. Yeah, with some laughably bad voice acting.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's true. Okay. Have we played Syndicate for the podcast? It seems familiar.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe I played this in my own time. Yeah, this is this is an isometric mob game for the 3DO, and it's apparently you have to make money through taxes and occupied territories. So, how exciting! Tax the populace. Okay. Back on
taxes.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh God, I just turned in my taxes to my tax guy last Friday. Ooh, I'm very hopefully I don't owe like $4,000 like I did last year. That suck ass.
Oh, I owed a lot last year too because I
God.
missed the box on my, I guess, tax stuff for my company, and I owed a lot of money.
Brutal.
Damn.
You couldn't just fix the box.
No, because the box was stupid because it says like other income
Okay.
or spousal income, and I just
Okay.
read the first part, other income. Like, no, I don't have other income, so it didn't take out enough.
I
So
see.
yeah, so me and Megan both didn't check that. So then we had to go back and check it and take out a little this year because I caught it a couple months in, just to hopefully not owe again.
Oh wow.
That's
How much
good.
did you owe?
$8,000.
Oh my holy God.
Jesus Christ.
I was all pissed off about $4,000 and you're like, oh bitch, twice more.
Yeah,
Because
think
I
it might
have
been-
2 people and you are 1.
I think it was closer to like 9. It was terrible. I was like, fuck.
Ugh.
So yeah,
Jesus
that was fun.
Christmas.
God, that's heart stopping. You're like, well, that's gone.
So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again this year.
Oh man.
I mean, in Canadian dollars, that's about what I paid for my new car.
Okay. Oh my God. On that note, let's kill some other people instead of ourselves. My God. I mean, unalive ourselves. There we go. What did I write down here? Okay, so the first game we're gonna do is the more recent one. That is the very first Assassin's Creed game. Action adventure game. You're an assassin made by Ubisoft Montreal.
Indeed.
Came out on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, November 13th, 2007. So it's actually older than you think it was when it first came out. And this came out basically my first year of college, along with kind of the Uncharted series and all that. And when I saw videos of this and this guy walking through this heavy like crowd of people, I was mesmerized. It was kind of like when that one Hitman game came out and they're just like a bunch of like mannequin looking things. This was like the next step of that, where you can the whole concept of you can hide yourself in a crowd and you have the crazy wrist knife along with the climbing of buildings. You can essentially climb anything. That was very appealing at the time. It's kind of marketed itself as parkour and then the hack and slash battle elements, but you want to avoid that. You want to tail your enemies a lot, and maybe in the future Assassin's Creed they went too far into that aspect because they didn't really get very creative with how to follow the people. They fixed that in Black Flag, I think, quite a big deal. But this one, it was still very learning how to do all this for the first time. So it was all very new and interesting. The how janky things are is a big aspect of what I was looking at. Like how did doing this climbing and parkour aspect hold up, or is it as janky as some people I've read say it is? Even some.
It's janky. I remember it being janky when it came out. That was the only like bad thing I remember when it first came out that I didn't like about it. Climbing was not as smooth as I hoped, and I think it's still that way.
So what I noticed is, and the big one was, so a new Assassin's Creed game, you can kind of hold down a button and it goes like auto up situation. In this one, you kind of have to choose where to jump and everything. It's a lot more cumbersome. And sometimes, quite often, you get that little jank involved where instead of jumping up, he jumps like off the building. And you're like, God damn it, I'm all the way at the bottom, or I died.
Yeah, I think it should be somewhere in between. It shouldn't be automatic, but you shouldn't be randomly jumping off.
That's a tough thing to have them choose against, but I guess if you're... Well, there was some aspects where you'd have to like orientate the camera, and that will trigger the animation of him jumping either up or off the building accordingly. How sensitive the enemies were was also another aspect, because very often in the early games, I vaguely remember the enemies would very easily spot you. It was actually very difficult to quote-unquote assassinate, and then you find yourself running all the way around the map until you get into like a box to hide in, or the curtain. And then you just kind of wait for a while. What did you guys think?
I think it was that bad.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good for its time. I mean, I remember the climbing mechanics had surprised me way back when, because I hadn't seen a game that had you able to grab as many handholds as you could in here.
Right.
At least up to that point. I remember being reminded of Prince of Persia with the parkour mechanics, and then I read a little deeper game, but then over time became Assassin's Creed.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's pretty easily to see the connection between the two games. Same studio, even. Not sure how much of the same team was involved. Certainly elements were there. Now, clearly we have a lot of concept of the story at this point in time and how far it's gone. When the game came out, I was not expecting this like modern aspect to it where you're this guy going back into an assassin's memories, that kind of deal. The concept is interesting, but as you play more and more through a couple of the sequels, they kind of dove too much into that, I feel, while this first one was a big setup for the larger like conspiracy theory that's going on there. Was the modern day aspect kind of keeping you away from the game that was more interesting, or what did you feel was the other way around? You were into the whole cyberpunk conspiracy theory that was happening.
I think it worked well. I think there was a nice balance in this game. Mostly you're inside the memories, but a little bit out, and that kind of give you a break from going from assassination to assassination. So it kind of, I guess, pushed the story along better with that, I think. So I think this one did it really well.
Yeah, I thought so too. I remember, I liked that there were in-universe explanations for why if you die, you start back a few seconds earlier, like because of the synchronization bar instead of a health bar.
Yeah.
And
they utilize that to unlock more of the world as you play. You have to be more in tune with the assassin you're going back in the memory of. It's part of your heritage that's big. So it's like, oh, you can't unlock this area because we can't access his memories of that area quite yet.
Yeah. And I remember finding the bit with the Apple of Eden and the Pieces of Eden to be pretty intriguing. For those who don't know, the Apple of Eden turns out to be this powerful piece of sci-fi tech from an advanced civilization of the past. Of course, the people of the time think it's some kind of supernatural thing. But, I mean, I thought it was going to be just some valuable treasure or supernatural artifact like something out of Indiana Jones, but it goes into a bit of a sci-fi angle there, and I remember finding that to be pretty interesting. It made me want to play all of the Assassin's Creed 2 games to find out more. Although, despite that, the latest Assassin's Creed game I've played is Revelations, and I didn't even finish that one yet. But I still have 3 and Black Flag in my possession.
Yeah.
The last one I played, I think, is Origins. Is that the Egypt one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Origins, the last one I played.
So I can say Odyssey fixed a lot of its shit I hated when it first came out. So the sequel to that is probably worth playing at this point. When the game first came out, it was very much a nerf. Well, maybe that's not the right word. Probably isn't. It was too focused on DLC and in-game buying content, that whole era, which feels like it's definitely lessened over the last couple of years. And then the new one seems like a complete disappointment. Just a totally rushed nonsense game that they're paying for now. So, last one I played was Unity. I'm playing it right now. But I've gone back.
We should probably give the audience a bit of a plot explanation.
Sure, go for it.
I mean, basically, Desmond Miles in the modern day has been captured by the Abstergo Corporation because he's the descendant of a long line of assassins. And they're using a machine called the Animus to delve into his genetic memory, and in order to find a map to the pieces of Eden that I mentioned earlier, because they want them for themselves. And in the game, they're delving into the memories of Altair, who was an assassin back during the time of the Crusades in the Holy Land, which is around, like, modern day would be around Palestine and Israel.
Yeah, how appropriate.
Yeah. And pretty much the Assassins are a big organization going up against the Templars. It's like the Assassins want freedom, the Templars want order, and they're butting heads constantly.
Yeah,
and
in a very loose sense of the words.
Mm-hmm.
You say order, I say control. You say freedom, I say chaos. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And then, in the first mission of the game, Altair is sent to retrieve the Apple of Eden from the Templars, but because he's an arrogant jackass, he fucks it up. One of his fellows dies, and then the other guy manages to get the apple, but Altair loses all of his status as an assassin, and he has to gain it back over the course of the game. And then, throughout the game, he's assassinating high-profile targets and finding out more about the Templars. And then turns out in the modern day, Abstergo Corporation is part of the Templar organization, and them and the Assassins are still butting heads to this day. And then that leads into the events of Assassin's Creed 2.
I really like the aspect of, as Desmond is going into his memories, and Altair's memories, and he's becoming more in tune with them, he's picking up his skills. Like it's a natural part of himself. Like it's kind of like that Matrix thing where it's like, I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Very sim. But this was a question I always thought about. If you're attuning your memories and then physically you can take over kind of their skills and everything, what about their personality? Wouldn't you also be in tune with that? And then you start becoming that person more and more?
Well, did the Assassins even have personalities?
Well, I mean...
Well,
yes.
Altair was overconfident and arrogant, and Ezio, I think everybody can agree, had a personality.
Sure, he was very Italian.
Fair enough.
Well, that's exactly why they need to take breaks with using the animus, so the memories don't bleed in too much into the modern guy's head.
Yeah, so they don't
And-
fucking go insane.
Yeah. Sort of like Johnny Mnemonic, if anybody's seen that movie.
Have not.
I recommend it.
I have to get
It's a bit
online.
cheesy.
I need a computer.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I'm way overloaded here.
That's a good line.
It's Keanu Reeves, man.
Oh,
one of
he's
his
the
less-
main guy in that.
Yep. In one of his less wooden roles.
Need a computer. I don't know why that broke me the way it did.
It's probably the line delivery. It's even funnier in the movie.
God, it must be. I'm gonna use that at work. God.
I want room service.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I honestly didn't think this was as jank as I was expecting. I was expecting something primitive, kind of like playing the first Ratchet and Clank compared to the others, where it's like you don't have strafe in that one. You have to still use a lot of the analog stick, maybe a little too much, R2 and L2 respectively. This one kind of felt like that, where it's like, okay, the controls aren't bad. They're certainly not as good as they get to be. But for the very first one, it's like, okay, I think this is very acceptable. I'm still having fun. And like you said, Joey, at the start, the balance I thought was way better than in a lot of the later games, for sure, where it's too much story and not enough game.
Yeah, I mean, easily you can see why this spawned a franchise. So,
Oh, yeah, it's... God, I really have to, like, sit down and think, what are my 10 most favorite, like, franchised games? You know, at least... There's got to be at least 3 of them, you know, kind of situation. Maybe an extra step would be involved because there's games on multiple generations of consoles. Maybe we consider that. You know, you would think of like Mario and Zelda and those games on all the Nintendo platforms. But in terms of like a singular storied franchise, I don't know how Final Fantasy would fit into that because every game is kind of singular, you know? But Assassin's Creed's got to be one of my favorite franchises to this day. And it stinks that some of the games in the middle didn't turn out so good and why they had to take breaks. While if I compare straight to the Tomb Raider franchise, the Tomb Raider games didn't get bad or were heavily critiqued. It was more or less of people got tired of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about I don't know. Isn't there some bad ones in there?
No, Joey, you're remembering incorrectly.
Pretty sure there's a really bad one.
There is definitely not a bad Tomb Raider game.
I
Look,
do believe. What is it? The 4th or 5th one?
No,
I think
no.
it's just where you're not even
What
in
to do with an
tombs,
Angel and Darkness?
No,
and you're
Angel
more
of
of,
Light.
like, a thief and not really going in the tombs.
Definitely not. Definitely not. There's not
Yeah,
a
you're
bad
right.
Tomb Raider game. It doesn't exist.
How silly of us.
Fantastic. 17 hours of just perfect controls. Okay.
You're right. How could we be so silly?
Yeah, we totally did not play and review that game for episode. What was that one? What was that one? That was on episode 65, called Black Sheep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Took me
That was a fun episode.
17 to 19 hours to beat that game, according to Steam. Okay. All right. You know, great game. What you talking about? Episode 65. Go back and listen. Fantastic.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, you guys both played it and did not quit after like 30 minutes.
Ah, yeah.
Did not
Right,
happen.
'cause I only made 15 minutes.
All right, Assassin's Creed. I loved it. I think it still holds up. It has one of the best endings to a game I've ever played, at least in terms of like setting up for you wanting to play more. It's right there with Psyops, the Mindgate conspiracy, except the sequel actually did happen. in Assassin's Creed.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember finding some aspects of the hiding in plain sight to be a little annoying. Like when you're walking through town and you got those beggar women constantly running in front of you and blocking your way.
Yeah, get them out of the way. Stab them.
Yeah, you gotta shove them out of the way twice before they get the hint that you're not giving them money.
It's just like homeless people in real life sometimes.
Yeah. They kind of fixed that in Assassin's Creed 2 when you got those minstrels running up to you and then you can just toss money to the side and they'll go away.
Yeah. Well, in a direct comparison to how Unity plays, Unity feels heavy. And what I mean by that is when I was Altair here in this little world, he moved a lot quicker. And it was, in a ways, a lot easier to control than what I'm going through with Unity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I felt about Revelations. Then again, Ezio's old in that one. So, makes sense.
Yeah. Joey, what's your verdict?
Oh, I'm passing it.
All right.
I pass it, although it needs a subtitle option.
Oh.
I don't know if there are any remasters with subtitles in it,
I
but
don't think they ever remastered this one.
Huh.
No,
That's
they
surprising.
they re-released it with the big trilogy thing, didn't they? Anyways.
I don't know.
The next game, Tenchu, Wrath of Heaven, or, as it came out on the Xbox, what was it called? Oh, it had a different name on the Xbox for whatever reason. Know what I'm talking about? Do you know that existed? It was like Into
Nope.
the Darkness, I think. Return from Darkness. That's what it was called. Got it. So I played the PS2 version. Says the Xbox version is a little superior with better graphics, more story missions, co-op, that kind of stuff. So that sounds very fun, actually. Developed by K2 and 2K Software. From Software, when they took over, re-released this on the PSP. Tenchu Wrath of Heaven came out on the PS2 in March 2003. Xbox a year later. So, a year more of development will certainly help a game's cause and looking a bit better and more polished. So I can totally see that and understand. The plot, with totally amazing voice acting, Colin. Okay.
Disagree.
Yes.
We'll go on.
You definitely agree. Amazing, the best, perfect. After Lord Mayo was defeated in Tenchu Stealth Assassins, Rikimaru was left in Lord Mayo's fortress, carrying out a giant boulder to provide an escape route for Ayami and Princess Kiku. He appears to be trapped and left for dead. Ayami stuck Rikimaru's sword in the snow as a monument for her fellow clan member, now considered dead. A year later, Rikimaru reports to Lord Goda that he has survived this near-death experience. Unbeknownst to them, the real Rikimaru was trapped in the 20th century, trying to find a way back to their time. So yeah, that plot really lost me. I'm like, hold on, how and why? I don't get it.
I did not know that was the plot of this game.
Yes.
Interesting.
He is in the future. I will continue reading. The game's plot plays differently depending on the character chosen, but connects at specific points. I was Ayami the most of the time here. The story revolves mainly around Rikimaru's return and the struggle for the three jewels, which are said to give power to those possess them. These are jewels of heaven, earth, virtue, Tenrai, an evil wizard who wants to get his hands on him, commands a band of men to take the jewels. So, the Shikan jewels, totally not the Inuyasha plot, which was popular at the time, from whoever possesses them. However, upon encountering Rikimaru, he seems interested in his power and attempts to convince him to join. Riki refuses. He and Ayami face each one of them. One of the men in the arsenal is Onekage, who only serves him to pursue his plan, reviving Mayo. So there's a revival plot here with the evil leader. Rikimaru and Ayami follow Tenrai into his fortress, stop him destroying the world using his power to gain jewels. Peace will be returned to Goda's land if he can be defeated. There's the full plot.
Okay.
Did you get all that? So I was
No.
Ayami most of the time. I did not play the main Rikimaru storyline very very long. Basically, you got kunais, you got swords. You go around the village. You have the grappling hook, but you have to choose where to shoot it. Essentially, it's like a very primitive Sekiro.
Yeah, and then sometimes you have to roll against the wall to get the right angle to be able to do the grappling hook in the right spot. And you have to really play with camera angles to make sure you can get to your target.
Colin, what did you think of Wrath of Heaven from what you played or watched?
Yeah. Like I said, looks just like the first game, just with better graphics. And I haven't played any other Tenchu games, so don't expect much from me here. I really didn't write down much for this game. I only had time to watch like 20 minutes of it last night.
Okay.
Like I said, bad voice acting. It's like, I'm dying! Oh, I'm dying!
No, it's perfect.
Or dude gets his head chopped off. My life! It's flashing before my eyes!
All right, fine. Maybe it's not that great. Maybe it's very standardized, poor quality, and very cheesy. Very hack in a lot of aspects. I will say this, though. All of my critiques of Tenchu 2, besides what I think in 3 is a worse story, the gameplay-wise, everything was improved upon tenfold over. I think the newer console, going from PS1 to PS2, made the difference. So the controls and playing the game, yes, Joey, you're right. You do have to still play with camera angles because of the era and what they wanted to do, but it was so much easier than what we played with Tenchu 2. If you remember.
I do not remember.
What about like hiding behind walls and actually getting to successfully assassinate people? Because in 2, that was a big critique we had. I did go back and listen to our thoughts over that. It was much harder to do the actual stealth part of the game. Did we get the same thing this time, or did you think it was much improved?
No, you felt like a ninja. I guess it was improved because I don't remember the second one. So
yeah, we did not like the second one. To jog your memory, it was very jank, and not like nothing was improved. They tried too much and couldn't nail it. So with the first one, it maintained like a sense of grounding and utilized the limitations and got creative with it. The second one, they tried to be more innovative and failed. This one felt like they learned from their mistakes, and the better hardware was able to fix a lot of that. So it was probably the game they wanted to make in Tenchu 2, and they end up doing it right this time.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The problem is, it's still very kind of barren and empty a lot of the times.
yeah.
So,
So
I'm trying to think of the Castlevania. What's the name of the Castlevania game on the PS2 and Xbox that we played?
One with the giant hallways.
Yes.
it's like Curse of Darkness?
I think you're right. I think it was Curse of Darkness. So it's like, okay, the game is we'll call it well made for the time, but it's too vast and there's too much distance and too much downtime to actually feel like you're truly playing the adventure, so to say, or interacting, when it just feels like you have an empty map and you're just really searching and find yourself wandering to your next location rather than the journey of it. Hope that makes sense at all. Because, like, okay, let's compare to the first Assassin's Creed. You always felt like you were doing something. I didn't get that same in Tenchu Wrath of Heaven.
That's fair.
Yeah. Now there's some critiques of the character models being like too close to the screen or too far. That's always been a issue with games like this. How do you get the right perspective on the game? I know we've certainly played games that came out before this where the character is like way too big or way too small, and you just can't really, we'll call it vibe with the character. Well, too big, he's just taking up so much real estate, you can't like see shit. When too small, you just can't, you don't feel like you're part of the character and what they're doing. This one I thought it was like just a little too big, but the ground was there to make the game very enjoyable from that perspective.
Yeah, I don't think it was too bad.
All right, so it seems we don't have much to say over Tenchu because I don't know. We've played the first two. We kind of know what we're getting into, and besides the very wacky plot, I was not into. And Colin's already mentioned the voice acting and stuff. It's not great. It's not great. The death animations are cool. The game isn't broken or anything. I'm not getting at that. It's unlike our Assassin's Creed review that we just talked about, where I'm more concentrated on did they fix what they had issues with the previous one, and was it enough? And I still think Tenchu Wrath of Heaven is short of doing just enough. I think it fixed a lot of its gameplay issues. It still clearly has a lot of the story and voice acting issues and the empty maps, which was acceptable in the very first game. It's not acceptable in this PS2 version. That's my ultimate take on this. It's still made well enough where you can play it and have a good time. I wonder if this sounds anything like my Curse of Darkness review. It might. So I think this is like an average game, which
Okay.
I guess would fail, technically.
I'm still going to pass it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a pass.
Okay. All right. So a little short review there. Graphics, PS2 versus PS1. Of course, they're going to be better. Our two games were Assassin's Creed, PS3, Tenchu Wrath of Heaven, PS2. Colin, favorite, least favorite? And your tiers.
Well, obviously, favorite is Assassin's Creed. I give that one an A and Tenchu a low B.
Okay. A, low B. Joey?
Assassins is my favorite. I'm going to give that an A, and I'm going to give Wrath of Heaven a C.
I'm with you, Joey. A for Assassin's Creed, a C for Tenchu. So clearly an A, and then a C. So
cool.
Pretty simple. AC for Assassin's Creed. Ha! How about that?
Heh.
Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the two games. Quick turnaround from when we're recording to playing, so I appreciate you guys accommodating all this. We're all busy in the mid-February era here with the time frame.
I mean, I got a birthday coming up.
Me too. And I'm going snowboarding for the first time in a couple of years. Got the new pants, got the board all waxed. I'm ready to go. I'm all pumped for that trip. Yeah, I'm going to... Saved up money. Mom's coming to visit. We're going to 3 different mountains this time around because we don't know. This might be your last time. She's...
Really?
Yeah, she's 68 years old, man. She's going to be skiing on these mountainsides. She's a trooper. Don't got much left. Don't got much skiing sessions with her left. So I'm going to really enjoy this trip.
Go for it.
Yep. All right. Colin, you got the next pick.
Yes, I do. And I think I know what it's going to be.
Ooh.
Game Boy Advance.
Ooh, okay. Just straight up Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. There's a one game on there I've been wanting to play and talk about for a while.
Okay.
I've only played a tiny bit of it in the past, and I want to really dive into it and see why it was so talked about way back when.
Awesome. All right. Then we will reconvene in a couple weeks. Looking forward to it.
3 weeks.
Upon recording. Yes.
All right. I'll see you then.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.